Hi, this is Nathan Johanning with the University of Illinois Extension. I'm here today and we're just going to talk a little bit about some highlights of blueberry pruning. So taking a look at what we have here, you can see we have two blueberry bushes. These are the variety Blue Gold, and the one you see on the left I just got done pruning, and the right is one that has not been yet pruned. So I just want to kind of look into some concepts of how we can get bushes that look more like this compared with what we start with. So a few goals that we're looking at. The first thing with pruning blueberries is we're looking at removing older wood, and so we want to get those stems as we look in at the base. Some of the stems here that are a little bit larger, those are going to be the things where we're going to want to focus. That's going to be probably one of our biggest goals at first, but we also want to look, if we look from there, we also want to take them and look up. We want to see things like this. This is nice, last year's growth, bright red. The ideal is even something like this, where you can see that long growth. That was all 1 year's growth, big and vigorous. Now we compare that with something like this. You see the size of the flower buds on here. They're smaller, they're scattered. This is very twiggy. Something like this is more of a candidate to be removed. Another thing that I like is that I want to be ideally picking fruit as I'm standing here at, say, maybe chest to stomach level versus picking fruit that are all down here. So you can also manipulate some of your harvest aspects just by your pruning. So things like this branch right here, which is obviously, if you look at it, this is a prime candidate to be removed. It's just got one little teeny tiny flower bud there, not very vigorous. And the other thing with all this, they're going down. Same way here, this branch. I may pull, if we look back in here, I may pull this right off of this main stem here because it's hanging down. And notice also with it hanging down, it's also not very productive. There aren't many buds. When we look up here, we have all kinds of flower buds. We go down lower, some of these don't have flower buds. And so here, if we move over here, you can see a similar thing. We have something pointed down, don't have a lot of flower buds. You'll get a few fruit off of it, but in reality, you can remove things like this and some of these others and boost the productivity of your prime fruiting zone that's in better sunlight. Up here, you can see all kinds of flower buds to work with, so you can clean it up and basically do both those things. So you look at the size of some of these stems, but then follow them up, see where they go. If they don't have any vigorous growth, then that's something to consider. You don't want to remove on, say, bushes this size, which are over 10 years old. You don't want to remove a lot, maybe just a few of those larger canes, and it depends on really the bush and the vigor that it has. The vigor would be seeing lots of fresh, bright red new growth, and remember, by removing some of these down low, you're going to invigorate more growth down low. Also, I have been known to even take things like some of these real small little things growing down here, and I'll just kind of weed them out too. If they're that small in diameter, less than half the size of pencil diameter in that first year, they're probably going to end up being low growing branches, especially this one that's heading out. It's going to be laying on the ground, it's going to be getting in the way for removing weeds, and it's probably going to get buried by mulch. And so you may as well get rid of it, and that will hopefully promote more growth like this in the future. So let's fast forward ahead and see what I've done to this other bush over here. So for this one, you can see I've removed, as we go down, I've removed a lot of the lower growth. And this may not be the perfect pruning job, but nothing's perfect. And with all of this, it's all up to the eye of interpretation as well. So there's, every person prunes a little bit differently, but this is just a few concepts to keep in mind. So you can see I've removed a lot of things that are going down low. We don't, unlike what we had over here, you look and you see all that growth coming down. We've removed some of those. Here's an example where there was a branch coming out to the side. I've removed that because what? I removed it right where we had this really vigorous growth that goes up to that nice kind of chest level for harvest zone. Another thing, looking at one other candidate, I didn't remove it yet, might be something like this. It's interfering with the other bush. If we look in here, it's got some productivity, but realistically, it's got a lot of twiggy growth. Even on the end, this is the most vigorous thing in it. It's kind of angled out, not up. And realistically, through pruning, we can also keep those stems, promote the ones that are growing up and not out. And so I'm thinking that this one may go too. And again, that opens that bush up. You get better air penetration. If you're, making any sprays, say protectant sprays or fungicides, or if you're worried about some of like our spotted wing Drosophila, you're opening up that canopy, better light, better air. And so, and you're just invigorating that plant. So again, just a few concepts, things to think about for blueberry pruning this time of year, and ways you can hopefully improve and maintain a healthy harvest from your blueberries.